Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. As per usual, my name is Marmy Newton and I will be talking about the most recent piece of media I watched, offer my thoughts, comments, unsolicited opinions, blah blah blah. And if you're interested, please stick around and yeah, let's share some TV, film commentary. So today I will be talking about what is apparently Zoë Kravitz's directorial debut, which is a film called Blinktwice. It's a thriller that's very interesting. I know who Zoë Kravitz is. That's about all I know about her. And, I know she's the daughter of Lenny Kravitz. Yeah, that's about all I know about her. And so when this movie came out, I really didn't have that much of an interest in seeing it. And then just kind of being online, I've seen lots of creators talking about how amazing the movie is. I mean, I don't know if they were paid creators or if they genuinely enjoyed the movie, but it kind of intrigued me to check it out. And so I, went off and I watched it. And I will say it is quite a movie. Quite a movie. It's just, so if you haven't seen the film, just a brief gist. This is one of those films where I believe it's better to go in blind. I never saw the trailer before I saw the film. And then B, it's just literally anything. And like, so if someone reveals even the littlest bit of detail, it could be a spoiler for the film, because it's just kind of like the kind of film that's just better when it's shrouded in secrecy when you're experiencing it the first time. So if you haven't seen it, feel free to click off this video, go and watch it, and then come back. Or if you don't care about spoilers and you want to hear about it, so brief gist of the film. The film is about a billionaire who invites his friends and then a bunch of other girls, a bunch of girls to a private island, and they're supposed to be there for vacation, obviously, and they're just kind of there indefinitely. We have no idea how long they planned on keeping them there, on just being on the island. And the protagonist, her name is Frida, she kind of got invited by the billionaire himself, the main guy, and which is played by Channing Tatum. Frida is played by an actress that I don't know, but she seems very lovely and is very talented, and I really enjoyed her performance. So yeah, the group end up going to this private island, and they're just kind of doing lots of drugs, smoking weed, getting drunk on champagne, and just having fun, like having the time of their lives, just relaxing. But then after a while, they've been on the island for quite a bit, and it's starting to feel a little too good to be true, especially because the protagonist Frida herself had said that something horrible is about to happen. And at that time when she said that in the film, she didn't really have any real context as to what she was saying, especially. So the thing with the Frida character is she's a working class person, and naturally her life is difficult, and suddenly she finds herself amongst these affluent people. Nothing is going wrong, everything is amazing, and so she feels like the other shoe will drop at any minute, any minute now. And she's right, it's a thriller, so the entire time as you experience in the film, you're kind of thinking, yeah, something sinister is happening, something strange is about to happen, and you're just kind of waiting for it to happen. And then once it happens, I keep saying happen, once it happens, it's a fun time. What can I say? It's a great little gaslighting film about gaslighting. I don't know. It's one of those, it's like a Florence Pugh film, right? She's like, oh, there's something strange going on, tells everybody, and then they're like, oh no, like nothing strange is going on, and then like a bunch of people get killed. Midsummer. But yeah, so that's the gist of the film, and now I will go into actually talking about it and sharing some thoughts, and hopefully if you haven't seen it, you will check it out because it's an amazing movie. So I feel like off of the just starting off, the female characters were very, very interesting. They were all super distinct. At no point was I like, oh, wait, who is this? Who's that? Like, they all looked completely different. There was like one blonde girl with like bangs who's like the weed girl, you know? And then there's like this other girl that has like an afro, and like you're like, oh, that's her. And then there's this other girl that was on Survivor, like, or a Survivor like TV show, and you know, and then there's the protagonist herself, Frida, and then her best friend as well, who is Jess. So it's very, very easy to tell them apart, which I really, really liked about the film, like with all the characters standing apart. And even when not all the female characters had as big roles as others, it still was very, like, it was nice to see how they were all written in a good way that allowed them to just kind of shine on their own. And then I also wanted to talk about how like I felt like even with like trying to get them to shine on their own, they still made sure that they were relevant to the storyline, right? Like the Survivor girl, they didn't just be like, oh, she's on Survivor, like she's on like a show like that, and then it's just like whatever, you know. It makes sense because they feel like her skills will come in handy to actually furthering the plot of the film, and like, you know, making things interesting and being cool that way. But yeah, I also wanted to talk about how much I loved the twists and turns in the film. It just felt like, I mean, it wasn't too much where it's just kind of just you being, you know, hauled in a bunch of different directions, or hurled in different, I don't even know what word I'm trying to use, just being moved in a bunch of different directions. I felt like you would discover more about the story as you went on, and then you're like, oh, I thought this was kind of this, oh, it's actually this, like, and it was just interesting. It wasn't more so about trying to be like, oh, you know, you the audience, you think you know what's going on. Well, no, like it wasn't trying to belittle the audience's intellect in any way. It was more so like just trying to expand more and more on the story and the storyline, and giving you more information that is very relevant to the story and just makes it even more interesting. So I really like that part of the film. Something that I really like, a twist that I really, really liked, I think this is also the biggest one, was the fact that apparently Frida had already been to Slater King, like the billionaire guy. That's a strange name. But had already been to his island before, and had been a year ago, which is so funny because that twist was not out of pocket, and I loved that. When I was watching the film, like at the very start of the movie, her boss, Frida's boss, comes up to her and says that this year you need to make sure you don't talk to Slater King as much as you were last year. You're being a little too chatty, try to be more invisible. And I remember hearing that at the start of the film and just being like, oh, so I guess like her interest in him has spanned for a pretty long time. Like it's not something she just picked up. And that's what I thought about it. And I was like, well, maybe that's just what they're trying to do with that line. And then later it was kind of a really beautiful payoff, because it looked like they were actually trying to set up for that twist, you know. So like one throwaway line at the very start of the film had actually led into the, you know, justified them being able to be like, oh, you know, she's actually here last year. She met him last year. She was chatty with him just like this year. She came here and she was abused and, you know, just tortured, and she has no idea because he made her forget. That's the whole point, right? Like they do all these terrible things to you, and then they make you forget, and they use that as a justification for why they're even able to do that to you, because they're like, oh, there's no point in going out of your way to not create trauma when you're able to just create that trauma and then repress it by having the person completely forget about its existence. I really like that twist, and I love the way they set it up from the very beginning. It was amazing, and yeah. And then the next thing I wanted to talk about is actually just a couple of questions that I personally had about the film. I feel like it's possible that I would give this movie a second watch, and then all those questions will be answered, especially because I feel like this is definitely the kind of plot that requires multiple viewings. Like each time you see it, you definitely are able to pick up a lot more details and are able to pick up a lot more about what's going on. So I definitely feel like I will be checking it out again. But yeah, for now, these are the questions that I had. If you have answers to those, feel free to let me know down below. Why didn't they, like, the girls, like, when they discovered that, you know, the two girls, the survivor girl and Frida, the protagonists, when they discovered what had been happening, why didn't they give the snake venom to the boy, that one young guy that was also being harassed and assaulted by the other guy on the island? Why didn't they give it to him as well? He's just as much a victim as they are. Or is it more so like, because it's a story about ladies banding together and helping each other, they were just kind of like, oh well, he's a guy, he can fend for himself, because he's definitely being tortured as well, and he's like being raped, and he's just like, it's a terrible time for him too. And I was kind of wondering about that. I was like, oh, why didn't they give him some of the venom? Like, I get it that at the very start they didn't know that he was also being, you know, made to forget, but then I think at some point they realize it, or maybe he realizes a little too late. But when they have like the little montage of all of them being sexually assaulted, he's definitely part of the victims. And so I thought that they would all have seen, the ladies would have seen that and tried to have him recollect that too, and then try to recruit him to be on their side. But I guess it's more so about like girls sticking together. That's what I saw. Maybe there's a better justification in the film, but I was kind of wondering about that. And then another thing that I was wondering about too, maybe again there's an explanation for that and I missed it, but that was when, like, the old lady giving the venom to Frida at all to drink, is it like, what was her incentive? Like, what about Frida made her want to give it to her? Is it because she's already been there? She's like, oh, I gotta help you because like crazy stuff is going on here and you have no idea. Like, I need to like do that. Because the lady wouldn't really speak. She wouldn't really say much. Honestly, she creeped me out. I thought she was gonna like turn into like a creature or something. I was like, I don't know. I was not ready for that. But yeah, so I was kind of wondering, like, what was her incentive? That older lady, like, why did she give Frida the, you know, the potion elixir, that green stuff she gave her in the first place to, you know, help her recollect? Like, what was it? Is it because she was looking for Jess, her friend, and Jess had been bitten by the snake? She was able to see now, and that's what it was? Or especially because Jess had also seen the older lady in the garden, the forest, before she got bitten. Was it like the older lady was trying to give the venom to as many of the girls as possible, and so she saw the, you know, that Frida was looking, and then she tried to help her out? I can't tell, and I'm not sure what's going on there. But that's another question that I had about the film. And then just, I really liked all the acting performances. Those were amazing. Just, I mean, I'm no acting expert. I have not acted in anything or won any cool acting awards or whatever. I have no credentials to be talking about someone's acting, but I definitely thought that, you know, when you watch something and the acting is so bad, it's literally distracting you from the actual content you need to be the actual content you need to be consuming. Overall, I really enjoyed the movie. It was so good. I genuinely recommend anyone who hasn't seen it to watch it. I mean, if you watch this video to this point, it's probably too late now, but regardless, I recommend anyone sees it. It's amazing. I really enjoyed it. It's just really, like, it's just stuff you don't really see very often now, especially because most of the movies that are being churned out are either really big superhero blockbusters, or, you know, there's very few original stories. So it's either, you know, superheroes or remakes, or exists an IP of some sort. So it's really nice and super cool to see something that is so like different and cool and really, really creative. And someone said that it reminded them of, I saw online, yeah, that someone was saying that it reminded them of the movie Don't Worry Darling, by Olivia Wilde, but a better done version of it. Anyway, I enjoyed the movie. Feel free to check it out, and please don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment on this video to help and support a small growing YouTube channel. Thank you for watching this video, and I will see you guys again next time.
Subscribe to my
Bye.
channel.